Well, in this session, I will be discussing about the unit root test, its relevance and its significance. Because most of the time, researchers find out that while studying various residuals, when we conduct any research on the time series or panel data analysis, so this is one of the important factors to find out whether their residuals, all the residuals, should be stationary. Okay. So if they are not stationary, then this is actually the problem of the unit roots. So they must try to get rid of this unit root problem from their study. Here actually the stationarity is an important concept in time series analysis. As I have said, while doing any analysis related with the time series or the panel data analysis, so there may be some dependent variables as well as some independent variables. So there should be some symmetry between all the residuals. They should be stationary. Okay, so I'm not talking about whether the residuals are normally distributed or non-normally distributed. It is a different issue. We will talk later on. But here I am discussing about their statistical properties in the form of the means and variances. Means and variances need to move in the same direction. They should not change over time. If they are changing over time, so that means the time series data or panel data is not stationary. So we have to make it stationary, whether at level, that means 0, or at first difference or the second difference. Another important point is that why it is important to check whether data is stationary or residuals are stationary or they are not stationary, because there are many further advanced analytical tools and statistical tests applied, and many models rely on it. So we cannot apply, for an example, we cannot apply OLS, we cannot apply ARDL, or we cannot apply the some other autoregressive distributed lag models or vector error correction model, or we will apply simply the VAR like VAR. So we have to find out firstly whether the residuals are ready to rely on these tests or they are not ready to rely on those tests. Another important thing is that we have to form hypothesis. The null hypothesis will show that the residuals have the unit roots at 5% level of significance. And these residuals may be your inflation, they may be your GDP, they may be your deflation, they may be your interest rate or some financial ratios. So you must find out individually whether they contain unit root or they do not contain the unit root. If, for an example, there is a unit root, so you will say the residuals have the unit root, so the null hypothesis is formed. Alternative hypothesis is that like either stationary or they have the further explosive root depending on the test used. So we will here take a look in general a p-value. For an example, you have applied the unit root test, and unit root tests are conducted on the basis of the ADF. Usually researchers, basically I use augmented Dickey-Fuller test while using the eViews, some advanced version, or some use the Schwarz criteria, or some researchers they use some different criteria, but I prefer the ADF, which is known as the augmented Dickey-Fuller test at the 5% of level of significance. If the p-value is found to be less than 5%, so we will reject the null hypothesis and conclude that there is a unit root. Okay, and for an example, if the value is found 0.07, so it is more than 5% level of significance, it is more than 0.05, so then in that case we will reject the null hypothesis. Okay, or accepting the hypothesis, how can we accept the hypothesis? Like the alternative hypothesis will be accepted if it is found to be less than 0.05. So You can say either you reject the null hypothesis or you say you accept the alternative hypothesis. It's both are same. So once you reject the null hypothesis, that means obviously the alternative hypothesis will be accepted. So if this is a flow chart, if your residuals are found to be stationary at level, so you will apply what you will apply? You will apply OLS, ordinary least square method, in order to find out the significant relationship between the variables. If there are two variables, for an example, dependent and independent variable, so you will apply that. Otherwise, if there is one dependent variable or many independent variables, then also it can be found out whether what is the actual relationship between the variables. And in the second case, if stationary at level and first difference, for example, few residuals are found stationary at level, few residuals are found non-stationary at first, non-stationary at level, or then you make them level at first difference. Then what statistical tool you are going to apply? You will apply simply ARDL. Okay, auto-regressive distributed lag. That is a model you are going to use in order to forecast the relationship amongst the variables or the residuals. In the third case, if all variables are found stationary at first difference, at level you have found that no residuals exist, okay, and then you make them stationary at first difference, then it is advised to use co-integration. Co-integration can be divided in further two parts: the unrestricted VAR model or error correction model, known as ECM in EViews. In the fourth case, if they are found stationary at first difference and some variables or residuals are found stationary at even second difference, then it is suggested to use some auto-regressive models. So further advanced tools and statistical method can be applied. For an example, if I say you have to use the forecast method known as ARIMA, auto-regressive integrated moving average model, and before that you must apply then Granger-Cause model and check whether they are partially correlated or auto-correlated. So there are many more advanced tools and techniques can be used, but before that you must find out whether your residuals are stationary at level or at first difference or at the second difference. I have also mentioned that if you find, for an example here in that point, if you find that they are here, this co-integration, okay, if co-integration exists, if there is no co-integration, then you can apply the some other tools and techniques. If co-integration exists, then you go for the unrestricted VAR model or the error correction model to check the relationship amongst the variables. So for an example, if you find co-integration, then apply ECM or VECM, vector error correction model. If you find no co-integration, then you will go for vector auto-regressive model, VAR, okay, vector auto-regressive model. So these all the researcher does in order to find out the relationship among the variables. What kind of the relationships among the variables? The dependent variables and the independent variables. The strong relationship, or there is no strong relationship, or positively interrelated relationship, or negatively significant relationship. So there are many more analyses, okay, depending upon your research objectives, depending upon your research methodology. But usually, you know what happens? Sometimes we do not even check whether the data is stationary or data is not stationary. Our residuals are moving in the same direction or in the different directions. We do not even apply the Jerky-Beret test in order to find out whether they are normally distributed or not normally distributed. That means what I am trying to say, that one must apply firstly the diagnostic tools once you apply the diagnostic tools, you just remove the morbidity of the data, then the correct models, tools and techniques of statistics in the form in econometrics can be applied, and that will be the better idea. So here I just end up, and in the next session I will be discussing about the Jarque-Beret test, which is very very crucial to know whether your residuals are normally distributed or your residuals are not normally distributed. Okay, thank you very much.